Denver Broncos Mile High View, no commercials, no bullshit. Today I'm going to solo it because there's a scheduling conflict between me and Colby, mostly on my part. And so I'm just going to put this together, kind of recap a week's worth of interesting things. Last video we talked about Russell Wilson and the trade, and I do apologize that, I did go off tangent. I had a commenter say, I was all over the place. And they're actually correct about that, but there's so many facets to the Denver Broncos, this trade, past, present, and future. So many aspects to this. And again, this channel isn't what you would call feel good. Unfortunately, with all the feel good channels out there, they're almost like an extension of Dove Valley. This is the only channel that has been critical of Dove Valley. And even when you get one person on one of those platforms that's actually critical about the Denver Broncos, it's just met with so much hate and non-objectiveness because, and I understand, the fans, they just want to be, cheerleaders. I think more than, anything else. But, I just ask you, if 6 years of mismanagement, and, we've been through all the facets of the mismanagement, you would think some of you would be a little skeptical. Let's take the Gregory pick just for an example. Look at the Gregory pick. None of you had Gregory even on your list, okay, for an edge guy. Of course, we believe that this is counterproductive to the way the successful teams of the NFL have been working the middle out. But nobody seems to want to look at that. Nobody seems to want to look at how the Broncos get exploited each and every year in the middle because they refuse to address that. So Gregory, a guy that wasn't even on your radar, you act like you want to defend him to the death. It's the hill to die on when you wanted somebody else. Didn't address where the Broncos really get attacked, and that's the middle. And this goes now into the draft. What we're hearing, and of course everything Dove Valley does, it's the greatest thing in the world with you people, even though they have 6 years of not addressing issues and talking to people around the league, fans around the league. They're perplexed that, they think that was the stupidest deal for Russell Wilson, considering they see Denver as a team really with a lot of needs, just like we do. And they put the cart in front of the horse, just a la Dove Valley, by giving everything away to get Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson would have been a great pick had this team been ready. And, of course, I think the crime of the offseason is Dove Valley putting out that this is the 2012 Denver Broncos. A complete nonsense, especially Dove Valley, which blamed itself for its shortfalls when they fired Vic Fangio, but at the same time, they say that out of one side of their mouth, then say that they did a great job building this roster, which, if you look at the losses, it's not all on the quarterback by a long haul. But this brings us back to the draft. And they're talking tight ends, which makes no sense. Nobody wants to talk about this either. It makes no sense because breaking down Russell Wilson film and seeing what Hackett's talking about, this is going to be 4 or 5 wide receiver sets most of the time. With a sprinkle of tight ends and maybe a bootleg type situation where you roll out and throw to a tight end, I don't see why you would make that a priority. It just doesn't make any sense. Everybody in the mock draft, everybody it's looked at the Broncos realizes that they've had linebacking issues for a long time. Now, the way they're working their linebackers, the signings they had, it seems like they took a step back. In the linebacking department, of course, they'll be exploited there. They get a they go and get a corner that's very burnable. So now they want to look at corners, but nobody really wants to look at getting that push up the middle. Matter of fact, I just got done reviewing Rodgers. That was another thing. We're going to talk about Aaron Rodgers in just a second, but I just got done doing film on Russell Wilson and didn't realize that he had hand surgery. This goes to the Gregory pick. That all of you are dying, this hill that you're all dying on, that you didn't even know this guy even existed until the Broncos went and got him. You didn't even have any idea that the guy had shoulder surgery. No indication that this guy could end up being another Jawan James out. He has a track record of injury being out in the Dallas, but no, you guys just cheerlead. God forbid anybody has an objective viewpoint on this, a voice of reason. That's what we're trying to bring here. You guys just want to just go with whatever Dove Valley, the cheerleading. So we're trying to be the voice of reason out here. It has nothing to do with hating the Denver Broncos. We don't like the current management situation. If this thing falls on its face, guess what? We're going to cheerlead that they clean house, get rid of the riffraff, and start a new, correct team or organization building long-term mindset. Instead of this Band-Aid, quick fix that they've for 6 years has failed them. And quite frankly, I think Russell Wilson is in a lot of trouble on this team. But going back to the draft, you guys, I was looking at Russell Wilson film, and it was the push up the middle that got, it continues to be a kryptonite for quarterbacks. Nobody wants to do that. All the good teams are doing that. They're focused on that. Makes the edges so much better. I even brought that up with how that related to the Los Angeles Rams, because we don't just look at Bronco film. So in the draft, you're looking at a running back. There's people wanting to get rid of Williams, Devontae Williams. Well, the fact is that, this zone blocking isn't really his forte, but that's Elway changing systems again. It seems like the draft, again, it just is not going to address real needs. You want to go after more corners. How come you haven't been able to develop the corners that you had? The young guys that you had, Surtain is your bread and butter coming in, your best, as long as they keep him on the edge. But if Williams, the cornerback Williams, who's totally burnable, he's going to get exploited this season. It's going to happen. If you guys decide that, because this guy's getting burned, you're going to move Surtain as a slot guy, then things are really going to get out of hand. So we don't see the draft really. We just see more of the same with the draft. The draft that they had last year, I don't think you're going to even come close to that with this draft. It's not on pace for that. Earlier, I discussed how I got off tangent talking about the subject of Russell Wilson, the draft. Was he? And we did a video, me and Colby, about was this the right move for the Denver Broncos? Of course, we believe the Broncos are not a team like everybody else that's not associated with the Denver Broncos believes the Denver Broncos were never ready for Russell Wilson. The NFL is promoting Russell Wilson, the splash trade, because I believe the Broncos are going to get a very tough schedule to showcase Russell Wilson. Okay, so I said I got off tangent. Was the Russell Wilson pick good? Well, I'm going to share a link with you. NFL executives said the Denver Broncos wanted Aaron Rodgers. Of course, this channel said that all along, that Russell Wilson was not the number one pick. We said that. We're the only one that said that. Obviously, the whole team was built to bring Aaron Rodgers in. Aaron Rodgers was not going to come to this organization. Mainly, I believe, now this is my speculation, is that the way Dove Valley handled it, arrogantly thinking they were going to get him, put out a draft day that, he's signing. Again, this channel said this can't be. It's impossible. Of course, we were right. Russell Wilson gets, if you listen to Russell Wilson, his very first statement with the Broncos, it was almost a monument to Seattle. And what he said, I quote Russell Wilson, Are you sure? Russell Wilson talking to the executive, the front office of Seattle. Are you sure this is what you want to do? This is what are you sure? Hey, I'm willing to stay here. This isn't a guy that's begging to come to the Broncos. But it was just too great for the Seattle Seahawks. It was just, the offer was just too good. Because these teams are getting just caught up in these contracts. Mahomes is going to be faced with the same thing. The Kansas City Chiefs with Mahomes is going to be faced. He'll probably have to go somewhere else because as a team, they just won't be able to support player personnel with that contract of Mahomes. And the question is, I think the 10,000 pound elephant in the room was the Broncos ready for this Russell Wilson acquisition? I say no. I think Russell Wilson's contract is going to keep the Broncos from really being a playoff contender. They may be a playoff pretender with their Band-Aids, their quick fixes or whatever. And I'm being generous, but I mean, this thing could really go south, and it's not going to be Russell Wilson. It's just that the trade we believe was done way too soon. The team wanted Aaron Rodgers. It wasn't even ready for Aaron Rodgers. I don't blame Aaron Rodgers. He had a choice. He wasn't going to come here. He wasn't going to come to the Broncos. No way. And Russell Wilson, are you sure this is what you want to do? This was, Seattle's choice. So it may not even be in the Broncos' best interest to sign Russell Wilson. It may not even be in Russell Wilson's best interest to sign an extension, a long-term contract. This team is going to be dealing with, in my opinion, mismanagement. I think bringing Russell Wilson in was mismanagement. I don't think the team was ready. I think they have cap issues. They're still dealing with Malik Watson. Thank you, Mr. Elway. And again, I just think that this, I know y'all want to come. I know right now the subscriptions are going up because you're going to tell us how wrong we are. But I'm looking at Seattle. I've been looking at Seattle film, and it just doesn't compute. It doesn't compute. What the problems with the Broncos really are beyond the quarterback. I mean, it wasn't. I'd say it had less to do with the quarterback and a lot to do with other issues. The Broncos' woes. So I see these things coming back. And now you talk about it's the ultimate spaghetti against the wall. You got a whole brand new coaching staff making questionable decisions, especially on defense. I don't believe this is a team that's going to be 14 points ahead. Everybody is. I believe there's a lot of Dove Valley PR coming out. And again, they always promise the moon and can't hit the treetops. Now they're promising the entire universe. And I just, if this thing goes south, it will not be a Russell Wilson issue. This is going to be a front office issue. I'm just going to end with this. I know a lot of you have subscribed because you are going to just tell us how wrong we are. And hey, if we are wrong, I don't blame you. Come and tell us how wrong we were. But I want to challenge all of you that subscribe to tell us how wrong we are. If it turns out that we actually are right about this, that this team was not ready for Russell Wilson, it doesn't go exactly the way you guys thought it was going to go, I don't want you to come here and just to grovel in front of us and say we were right. My challenge to you is to grow a spine. Show some objectiveness and go hold those other people accountable. They're the ones that promised you the universe. If they can't deliver the universe, first of all, you need to look at yourself in the mirror. Fair is fair. If we're right, if we turn out to be right, you need to look at yourself in the mirror. Grow a spine. Go hold those other people accountable. Hey, we put ourselves out here. We put ourselves out on the line. We've been doing that all along. We've earned our stripes. We keep being correct. Every time everybody's going to show us how wrong we are, there goes the subscriptions down again because, doggone it, we were right again. The stuff isn't hard to figure out. And we're not really the only ones that see this, but you don't get this in any of the Bronco channel, any of the objective, no bullshit analysis. You just don't get that. So my challenge to you is, if we are right, I don't want you coming here saying we were right. I want you to go hold the other guys accountable. Y'all want to come tell us, we were wrong. And if we're wrong, hey, we earned that. But do you have the guts to go and tell those other platforms they were wrong? That's the question.